The scene opens in a martial arts dojo, quiet after a long day of training. The camera pans over the room, showing a polished wooden floor, hanging trophies, and photographs of former champions. The instructor, a broad-shouldered, arrogant man, stands at the front, giving instructions to a group of students. The atmosphere is tense, and everyone seems to be focused on him. The focus shifts to Sarah, a middle-aged woman in a gray cleaning uniform, pushing a mop across the floor. She moves quietly, trying to stay out of the way, as she has done for months now. She's humble, just a cleaner in the dojo, but she has a strong sense of dignity. Todd, the instructor, notices her as he continues to lecture his students. His tone is harsh, mocking, and full of disdain as he insults one of his students for a mistake during practice. His words are venomous, cutting down the confidence of his students, while Sarah tries to avoid eye contact, moving silently through the room. Suddenly, Todd makes a sharp comment about her presence, even though she is just cleaning. His words are loud enough for the students to hear. It's clear from the beginning that Todd feels superior to anyone he deems beneath him. "Sarah, this is a dojo, not a place for cleaning. Get out of my sight unless you want to be a part of the show, too." The students glance nervously at each other, unsure whether to react. This is where the conflict begins, establishing Todd as the antagonist, arrogant, powerful, and domineering. The tone shifts from neutral to tense, immediately establishing Todd's abusive and disrespectful nature. Todd begins his usual teaching session. His voice booms through the dojo, giving orders to his students. As he demonstrates a powerful move, a student, Ryan, stumbles during his practice. Todd turns sharply, his eyes locking onto Ryan's mistake. He approaches him with a menacing walk and smirks. "You think this is a joke? A simple mistake, and you embarrass yourself in front of the whole dojo?" Todd roars. The young man apologizes, but Todd is relentless. He doesn't accept apologies. His ego is far too inflated for that. Sarah, still quietly cleaning, winces at the scene. She has seen this kind of abuse before, how Todd uses his position of power to belittle those beneath him. But tonight, something feels different. Her hands grip the mop tightly as she continues her work, trying to avoid making any noise. The camera focuses on her expression: anxiety, fear, and helplessness. Her role in the dojo is clear. She is a servant to the dojo's image, nothing more. Todd makes it a point to assert his control over everyone in the room. "You're nothing more than a cleaner, and don't forget your place." Todd's words sting, and the students shift uncomfortably. Then, as if to prove his point further, Todd humiliates Sarah in front of the students. He mocks her cleaning tasks, belittling her in front of the class as if she were worthless. The silence in the room becomes deafening. Sarah looks down, her face flushed with embarrassment, but she says nothing. She's used to this, but it doesn't make it any easier. At this point, the audience begins to feel sympathy for Sarah, and resentment for Todd grows stronger. The tension continues to build, with Todd clearly seeing Sarah as insignificant and his students unsure of how to react. Just as Todd turns back to continue his humiliating lecture, Emily, Sarah's 13-year-old daughter, enters the dojo. The camera follows her as she walks into the room, carrying a backpack, her presence commanding attention despite her small stature. "Leave my mom alone!" Emily's voice rings out clearly across the dojo. The students stop mid-move, eyes widening. Todd spins around, a malicious grin spreading across his face. He's about to mock her, just as he did with everyone else. "What did you say, little girl?" Todd sneers, clearly enjoying the discomfort he's causing. He towers over her, but Emily doesn't flinch. "I said, 'Leave her alone,'" Emily responds calmly. Her voice is firm, steady, and unshaken. The tension in the room is palpable. The audience is hooked now. They didn't expect a young girl to stand up to the master of the dojo. Todd chuckles, his mocking tone turning into a challenge. "What are you going to do about it?" Todd asks, his arms folded across his chest. Emily doesn't back down. Instead, she steps forward, her feet planted firmly on the ground. She's ready to defend her mother, to stand up against the bully who has humiliated her for so long. "You owe her an apology." The crowd is in shock. Emily's defiance is the turning point in the story. The tension has reached its peak. The audience now anticipates what will happen next. Will Emily manage to get an apology from Todd, or will this escalate into something worse? Todd laughs, walking slowly toward Emily. The tension is unbearable. "You think you can challenge me?" Todd taunts. Emily stands still, her expression unshaken. She knows exactly what she has to do. Todd gives a theatrical speech about power, respect, and discipline, expecting Emily to back down, but she doesn't. Instead, she accepts his challenge. "Let's settle this, right here." The dojo falls silent, and the students watch with bated breath. Emily takes a fighting stance, calm, collected, but incredibly focused. Todd smirks, assuming this will be an easy victory. As he moves to attack, Emily dodges easily, surprising him with her speed and grace. The room is in disbelief. This young girl is more skilled than anyone imagined. Todd attacks relentlessly, but Emily counters with precision. Every strike he makes, she dodges, and every move she makes hits its mark. The camera cuts to the students watching in awe. They never expected a young girl to outmatch their seemingly invincible instructor. Finally, with one swift move, Emily lands a perfect strike, knocking Todd off balance. The crowd gasps in shock. Todd is humiliated, his arrogance completely shattered. "Anyone else want to challenge me?" Emily asks, her voice calm but firm. After Todd collapses, gasping for breath, Emily stands tall, victorious but humble. Her mother runs to her side, pulling her into an embrace. The students begin to applaud, some in disbelief, others in awe. Emily looks around, and with a calm demeanor, she speaks again. "It's not about strength. It's about standing up for what's right." The dojo, once filled with tension, now feels like a place of respect and honor. The message is clear. True strength lies not in physical power, but in courage, honor, and the willingness to stand up for others. As Sarah watches her daughter, she realizes that the true inheritance of their family isn't violence or brute strength, but the power to protect and stand up for what's right.